Mr. Trump has claimed the state was on the brink of acquiring nuclear weapons and said the agreement was disastrous and great embarrassment to him. He said, "America will not be held hostage to nuclear blackmail." Mr. Trump cited Iran is building a nuclear program, and said the U.S. will reimpose sanctions against Iran. These will be rolled out in keeping with 90 days and 180 days wind-down periods. The Iran nuclear deal was a long-term agreement made by P5, one group for world powers to limit Iran's nuclear development. In return for strict limits on its nuclear program, Iran escaped sanctions which had plagued the economy for over a decade prior to the accord. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action (JCPOA) was brokered by 7 parties and signed in 2015, under Obama. Trump's controversial decision has reverberated around the world as countries part of the JCPOA reacted to the news. Get Iran nuclear deal? Why has Trump pulled the U.S. out of deal? Britain, France and Germany had made strenuous attempts to persuade the U.S. president to preserve the deal. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu backed Mr. Trump, describing the agreement as a recipe for disaster. Why has Trump pulled out of the deal? The U.S. president believes the Iran nuclear plan is a bad deal and falls short of addressing Iran's regional behavior or its missile program. The deal was the key foreign policy achievement of Barack Obama's presidency, making it an immediate target for successor Mr. Trump. Getty Iran nuclear deal. Trump cited Iran was on the brink of acquiring nuclear weapons in the presidential campaign trail. Mr. Trump made his opposition clear and then continued to make threats about pulling out of the worst deal the U.S. has ever signed up to because of its disastrous flaws. Critics claim it is another example of the president dismantling Mr. Obama's legacy. He described the deal as being defective at its core. Mr. Trump said, "As we exit the Iran deal, we will be working with our allies to find a real, comprehensive and lasting solution to the Iran nuclear threat." Getty Iran nuclear deal. Critics claim it is another example of the president dismantling Obama's legacy. The Iran deal does not prohibit Iran from testing missile. The agreement solely targets Tehran's nuclear program. The U.S. president is not in favor of the restrictions of the deal, like the ones on uranium enrichment and the use of centrifuges, and he would prefer those restrictions remain indefinitely so it's even harder for Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Before his election campaign had even begun, Mr. Trump promised to dismantle the disastrous deal with Iran. In January, he reluctantly waived a raft of sanctions against Iran, which was required by Congress every 120 days. However, he said, "This is a last chance," and asked European countries to join with the United States in fixing significant flaws in the deal.